Welcome to the Crossview Podcast. Here we are with another video, another episode. What are we about to get into, Aaron?
A reaction to Nefarious.
That's right.
The movie Nefarious that came out recently.
Yeah. So we're going to jump right into the content. So I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can watch the trailer along with us. Let's get this full screen. All right, let's make it happen. All right, here we go.
Hello?
You should have accepted my offer, James.
Execution scheduled for 11 p.m. But he's trying to convince us he's gone insane.
And therefore incapable of being executed.
I need you to prove he's faking it.
Edward? Let me ask you some questions.
I'm not Edward. I'm a demon.
Demons aren't really a thing. What happened to Edward?
We own him.
We?
He's a master manipulator. You have your head so twisted around you think you're the killer, not him.
And give me something to make me believe you. Prove to me you're a demon.
It's probably just a coincidence.
And this is a Christian thriller, by the way, guys.
I want to talk to
The real
Edward.
makes me do bad things. I can't stop him.
I need you to see something. You got a fan. Did the same thing with all his victims.
Help me!
I'm trying to, Edward, but you have to answer my questions. You have to tell me the truth.
It won't let me!
It can go away. It can go away. Yes?
No.
Chills.
It's starting to happen. Can you feel it, James? Can you feel it?
There
I think it's time we tell you exactly what it is that we'd like you to do.
Well, yeah. So
Boom.
that's the trailer of Nefarious. Again, just a little back story here. Again, this is considered a Christian film.
Christian horror movie.
Christian, they said thriller. I don't know if they would call it horror. But obviously the subject matter is of a demon. What other background can we give for the film? As you saw, it came out April 14th. It was in select theaters. So we were like itching to go see the movie,
Yeah.
but it wasn't in every single theater. It wasn't one near us. So now it's on Salem now. If you guys want to go check it out, we both have actually seen the movie since this. And so we're partially reacting to the trailer, partially reacting to the film itself and what we thought about it. Aaron, thoughts on the trailer, thoughts on the film as well?
I love that laugh. Is it weird to say I love that laugh?
Well, the dude, the actor was so good. Like he carried the whole film, honestly. So you had to.
The both main actors were very good, but the guy who played the demon possessed dude, he was the one that made it worth it. I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but he made it worth it because a lot of the movie, I'm going to try not to give away spoilers, but a lot of the movie was a dialogue at the table between what you see a lot of what you see in the trailer. That was the bulk of the movie. I mean, there was they would split off to other things sometimes, but that was the bulk of the movie, the dialogue between them. And so if you think about that setting, if they're not really, engaging and catchy and all, then it's not going to hold your attention.
No.
And it's not going to, nothing about it's going to like really bring you in.
Yeah.
And I feel like the actor, the demon possessed one, Edward, he really sold it.
Yeah.
Like you could tell just from his body language and the way that different things his face would do. Like you could tell when the demon took over, and then when the demon didn't,
right.
or when the demon left, and like
Right.
you could. It was just, yeah, he did a really good job.
Really good job, and the production helped as well. It kind of did some camera work as well to kind of let you know what was going on in terms of when the demon was there and when it wasn't. Again, they gave you the context. And let me give you a little bit more context about the film, about the book in which the film kind of was birthed out of, and then even the book was birthed out of something. So, again, the backstory, we said this earlier, it's a Christian thriller, is how they're portraying the film. The reason being is this is actually inspired, if you go way, way, way back, the original Screw Tape Letters written by C.S. Lewis. The idea, again, of the Screw Tape Letters is written from the perspective of Satan and the demons. And essentially, it's kind of like from the perspective of the demons, Christians now can understand the kind of the game plan and the schemes of the enemy and what the enemy is trying to do in the world and the confusion it's trying to bring and the harm it's trying to bring. And so that's what the Screw Tape Letters was kind of to Christians, was like, oh, this is a peek into what demons want. And so chaos and murder and violence and all the things, sin essentially is like, if we're okay with Christians in the church, as long as they don't truly love Christ, as long as they truly don't read their Bibles, as long as they're really not praying, like they're not threats to the enemy. And so that's why it's kind of, again, a Christian perspective. And then the author here, I can't remember his name,
Steve
Deasy wrote a book, Nefarious, again, birthed out the idea of inspired by the Screw Tape Letters. And so, again, more focused on the Western American perspective of the same idea. But yeah, the film was really good. I thought it had a lot more theology than I expected, actually. I thought it would be a little bit less explicit. I thought you would have to but no, there was some conversation, some dialogue there that like the demon was actually explaining theology. And I think there was one point in the film where he said, we know more theology than you. Like we know the truth more than you do. Speaking about humans, right? More than humans.
He said that to a priest, didn't he?
I think he still said it to because the guy was asking him about
that was a spoiler.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But even that, because I even mentioned it in again the context of C.S. Lewis when he was writing about, it's like Christians that aren't a threat. Demons love those.
Yep.
Because you're out of the game. You're not in the game. You're not in the playing field. You mean nothing to the demons. You're not in their way. If you are engaged in actively following Jesus, now you're in the game. Now you pose a threat to the enemy and to the demons. So, again, it's really cool. And there was also, this is kind of a side thing. Go check it out as well. Mark Driscoll did an interview with the author of the book Nefarious.
I didn't see that, actually.
So good. You get even more into again, just a biblically, hearing that conversation, you understand it's the what was portrayed on the screen was rooted in good biblical theology about demons, about what's going on in the spiritual realm when we're just like not even thinking about that, and what's influencing culture and even our sin. Sometimes, not to say demons always influence our sin, because most of the time it's just our flesh and we give the enemy too much credit. But anyway, you get the point. Just kind of having a view and an understanding that this is real because it's biblical, and also like it matters to us because this is what we're fighting against. We don't fight against flesh and blood, but spiritual principalities and things like that.
I mean, we always hear the term spiritual warfare, right?
Right.
Like we hear spiritual warfare all the time, and unfortunately, if spiritual warfare is one of those things, it's warfare. So there's a war going on. There's a battle going on. Mm-hmm. But so many Christians fall into that category of not even being aware that there's a battle going on.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to win a battle that you're not even fighting in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of touching on what you said with people who are just distracted and not in they're or another way you could say it, like they're not in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
If it definitely is creepy.
Mhm.
But that's kind of the point. But like, it comes off creepy. There is no gore or anything like that.
Right.
It's really honestly just going to be a, I guess in movie terms, they might say like a psychological thriller.
Sure.
And so if that's your thing, I definitely recommend it. I also would definitely recommend it for if you're somebody listening that, and we're talking about spiritual warfare and we're talking about demons, and this is like, none of this kind of stuff is anything that you've ever really like gotten into before.
Mhm.
Why not check this out?
Yeah.
Because this is at least a good intro into, the mind of the enemy.
Right.
And
Right.
with coming from a solid biblical foundation.
Yep.
Which is really cool how they do that. Because
yeah, I think a lot of people think that demons, I shouldn't watch anything like that. I shouldn't know anything about that. I shouldn't talk about that. But no. It's biblical. It's biblical. God revealed this to us for a purpose, that to kind of reveal there is a spiritual realm. Okay, we can go into all the scripture, but we won't do that. But yeah, I'm glad you said that. It's not, there's not gore. It's really not. You're not going to be seeing any weird clown looking faces
there's no
or anything.
language, there's no sex.
Yeah, no, it really is something. Like, again, be wise, age appropriate. Like, you don't want maybe kids looking at it, whatever. But but again, if you're an adult who like doesn't like watching horror, because I don't watch horror.
I don't either. I haven't watched a horror movie in probably a decade.
And I do it to filter what my eyes see, what I allow in my house, what I allow, that kind of that gate, right? So for people that still feel that way, I felt, I didn't feel conviction, to not watch this. Again, it was from Christian producers, writers, and everything like that. I felt that. I felt like I was getting a commentary of biblical things regarding demons, is what I felt like. And to be honest with you, and so if again, like Aaron said, if it's something that you haven't dug much into, I think it is a good start just to see what the movie's about, see what it's about, see what you can learn. But then ultimately, of course, go to scripture, and make sure that you have a biblical understanding of spiritual things, specifically the demonic realm and Satan's plans and schemes of the enemy, which again, scripture teaches us about for a reason. So we shouldn't be blind to it or ignore it.
And I would say one last thing, because it brings up this quote, but I can't remember if it's C.S. Lewis or Tony Evans. I believe it's one of those guys. The quote goes something like, "Be a Christian, be a person who, when you die and move on from this earth, the demons celebrate that you're gone, you're out of the battle."
Yeah, that's good. I think it was Spurgeon, actually.
Was it Spurgeon?
I think it was Spurgeon.
That definitely would be a Spurgeon
thing. I think that was Spurgeon.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's dope.